But you fought basketball players, you fought strikers in the UFC, you fought a 50-year-old, Mike Tyson. Yeah, the money was there, but it wasn't the toughest matches in the world. Why'd you pick those fights? Because you could make money without it being much of a risk.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being exhibition, it makes sense.
Against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab.
Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when talking about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight. He said Tank is one of the best fighters of this generation, a knockout machine with amazing timing, power, and instincts. Stephen admitted Jake has the size and reach advantage, but he explained that being athletic isn't enough against a skilled and experienced boxer like Tank. He warned that even with Jake's strength, facing Gervonta could turn into a harsh reality check inside the ring.
Knockout on Ryan Garcia in April of 2023. Stephen A., is Tank Davis the most exciting fighter in boxing?
Yes, he is. He absolutely is. I love me some Terrence Crawford. He's spectacular, probably #1 pound for pound on the planet. I'm a Canelo Alvarez fan. Obviously, I'm a David Benavidez fan. But this brother, Gervonta Davis, Tank Davis, the time has come for the world to recognize this is one of the top 5 fighters on the planet. He might be top 3.
Yeah.
You can make a legitimate argument for him to be in 3, 1, or whatever.
According to Stephen A. Smith, Gervonta Davis is a rare natural talent with sharp reflexes and powerful punches that place him among the best in boxing. He said Jake Paul's size gives him a small chance to land a big shot, but if Davis controls the distance and timing, the fight could be one-sided. Stephen often warns Jake that overconfidence could hurt him badly, reminding him that size means nothing when you're up against a skilled knockout fighter like Tank.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Stephen A. Smith has often said that Jake Paul is no longer just a social media star trying out boxing. He admits Jake has taken the sport seriously, training hard, working with real coaches, and running full camps like a pro. But Stephen believes that effort alone isn't enough anymore. He says it's time for Jake to face real boxers, fighters close to his age, size, and skill level who are active in the sport. Only then, Smith says, will people know if Jake is truly ready to earn respect in the real boxing world.
Paul is a professional. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Beterbiev, Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican Monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation. The time has come for Jake Paul to step into the ring with a cat who actually boxes for a living and give us that fight. I appreciate the fact of him promoting. I appreciate him having the cachet as a former YouTuber turned boxer. I like Jake Paul. I respect Jake Paul. I'm just saying, because I like him and because I respect him, I want to see him in the ring. And I don't want to hear, I know his numbers are better, but then he's going to say, I don't need Canelo. Canelo needs me. Well, wait a minute. It ain't just about popularity, bruh. But you fought basketball players. You fought strikers in the UFC. You fought a 50-year-old, Mike Tyson. Yeah, the money was there, but it wasn't the toughest matches in the world. Why'd you pick those fights? Because you could make money without it being much of a risk. Well, if you're doing that, how you going to turn around and knock Canelo Alvarez for doing the same? Especially working in a sport that you yourself, Jake Paul, has called corrupt and abusive towards fighters. Now, I understand you're upset. You're a little bit salty about Canelo using you to get a better deal from Riyadh or him turning down a fight with you. But what you're attempting to do and what you have done to some degree Canelo Alvarez has done. He has fought Triple G. He has fought Mayweather. He has, I mean, even though Charlo's undersized, he was a champion. Terrence Crawford is a champion. By the way, he's not 140, he's not 135, he's 147. And then his last fight, I think, was at 154. And oh, by the way, he would move up a couple of weight classes. Now, I think Canelo needs to be fighting David Benavidez as well. But he did fight and knock out Kovalev at the light heavyweight spot. He did fight and lose to Bivol. He did fight Triple G, not once, not twice, but 3 times. So when Canelo sits up there and says, I fight fighters, he ain't lying. His reputation does speak for itself. So I can't sit up there and flow with you, Jake Paul, on that one.
Stephen A. Smith has said that Jake Paul shouldn't complain about criticism when even Canelo Alvarez, a true boxing legend, faces similar talk for taking fights that seem more about money than real competition. Smith has also challenged Jake directly, saying if he's serious about boxing and not just chasing fame or paydays, he needs to fight someone his own age and size. He believes Jake has been choosing opponents who are smaller or past their prime, creating unfair matchups. According to Stephen A., the only way Jake can prove himself, earn respect, and show real growth is by facing a fighter who truly matches him.
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me to believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please, with sugar on top. I'm interested.
But you fought basketball players, you fought strikers in the UFC, you fought a 50-year-old, Mike Tyson. Yeah, the money was there, but it wasn't the toughest matches in the world. Why'd you pick those fights? Because you could make money without it being much of a risk. Well, if you're doing that, how you gonna turn around and knock Canelo Alvarez for doing the same? Especially working in a sport that you yourself, Jake Paul, has called corrupt and abusive towards fighters. Now, I understand you're upset, you're a little bit salty about Canelo using you to get a better deal from Riyadh or him turning down a fight with you. But what you're attempting to do and what you have done to some degree, Canelo Alvarez has done. He has fought Triple G. He has fought Mayweather. He has, even though Charlo's undersized, he was a champion. Terrence Crawford is a champion. By the way, he's not 140, he's not 135, he's 147. And then his last fight, I think, was at 154. And oh, by the way, he would move up a couple of weight classes. Now, I think Canelo needs to be fighting David Benavidez as well. But he did fight and knock out Kovalev at the light heavyweight spot. He did fight and lose to Bivol. He did fight Triple G, not once, not twice, but 3 times. So when Canelo sits up there and says, I fight fighters, he ain't lying. His reputation does speak for itself. So I can't sit up there and flow with you, Jake Paul, on that one.
Jake Paul responded to the criticism by reminding everyone that he's still new to boxing and hasn't been doing it his whole life. He said, I was on Disney when these guys were already winning UFC belts, meaning many of his critics have years of experience while he was busy building his career in entertainment. Jake explained that people shouldn't expect him to reach the top overnight, but he believes he's improving quickly and is fully focused on proving himself in the ring.
You are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who is his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury, and he backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. You know, his brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got scared.
Stephen A. Smith has often praised Jake Paul for how he promotes himself and brings attention to boxing. While he still questions Jake's choice of opponents and the level of competition, Smith respects the way Jake has shown that fighters can succeed without depending fully on promoters. He believes promoters have too much control, delaying fights, blocking opportunities, and using their power unfairly. By taking control of his own career, Jake has broken through that system, bringing fresh energy, money, and excitement to the sport. And according to Smith, that deserves real credit.
I've always been a fan of Jake because I think that what Jake tries to do for the sport of boxing, I think people don't realize the importance of him being able to promote for himself and not being reliant on the promoters who I believe has held the sport hostage. The only critique I've ever given Jake, I just want Jake to fight boxers. Like Nate Diaz, we know his reputation. We know the man can fight. We know in the octagon he could be something special. But we know you breathe on him, he starts bleeding.
It's a fair critique. And you know what? He should fight boxers. But then again, should he? Because I'll tell you why. If you're a human who can rake in $6 to $10 million fighting people that you know you're going to beat, and you want to build a resume and a record that's impressive with a good highlight reel, you got to be strategic about this shit. Jake's 25, 26. He's got so much time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I get where you coming from. All I'm saying is, we don't know your skill set because you haven't been in there with anybody really, really skilled.
Boxing expert Terrence Crawford believes the fight is unbalanced because of the weight difference, saying Jake Paul's size could give him a big edge if he lands one clean punch. Crawford explained that a single solid shot from Jake early in the fight could change everything. However, he also pointed out that because of this mismatch, the fight might look more like an exhibition than a true boxing battle.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Teddy Atlas, one of boxing's most respected voices, has openly talked about Jake Paul's rise and the hard work behind it. He says that no matter what critics think, Jake deserves credit for creating his own path and getting the fights he wants. Atlas explained that this didn't just happen by luck, it took persistence, money, and a willingness to give up comfort for success. He also noted that Jake has truly improved as a boxer, training for years with top coaches and sparring with real professionals. While many boxing fans still doubt him because of his YouTube past, Atlas believes Jake's progress proves how much effort he's put in to earn his place in the sport.
That I gave too much credit to Paul. Why? He's done a hell of a job to put himself in this position. He sold himself. He sold his dream. He took his dream. He took his idea. And he put it out there, and he made it happen. Give him credit for that. And he made it happen. And he took risk along the way. Yeah, he picked his spots. He's in the driver's seat. He gets to pick his spots. He's the one bringing the money. He's the one promoting. Yeah, he's the name. He made himself that, coming from where he came from, with all his followers and the whole thing, and just the uniqueness of what he was doing. But he has learned along the way. He's not a top guy yet. No, I don't know that he ever will be. He didn't have that amateur background and the things that you usually need to be a top guy. But he has improved. He is a work in progress. He is a guy that you got to give him credit that he's respected the sport. He went out there, he's worked hard at it, and he's gotten himself into this position. Having said all of that, this might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step. Where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down.
Many analysts believe this fight could become one of the biggest boxing events in years, reaching more people than most traditional matchups. They say Jake Paul is more than just a boxer. He's an entertainer and influencer with a huge global fan base. Unlike most fighters who mainly attract boxing fans, Jake pulls in millions of casual viewers through his social media and mainstream fame. This mix of sports and entertainment makes the event feel like a cultural moment rather than just a fight. Experts think it could dominate headlines, break pay-per-view records, and change how boxing connects with fans worldwide.
Boxing than Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Canelo's not a bigger global star than Jake Paul because Jake Paul is an entertainer outside the sport of boxing. That's why. So now you have people telling you that Jake Paul and Tank Davis is a circus fight. Okay? It's a commercial circus fight on top of that. Jake Paul fights at cruiserweight and heavyweight. 200 plus pound, 200 minimal. Okay, his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., former world champion, the son of a legend, he weighed in at 199 pounds. He fought Iron Mike Tyson at 224 pounds. Okay, Tank Davis fights at 135 pounds. You have the storyline of David and Goliath that's going to push the entertainment part. Okay, that's going to get people to draw interest in the fight. Why? Because you have the whole David and Goliath situation going on. So again, that attracts people. Okay? So it's a sideshow. But even the sideshow, yes, it's going to be on Netflix. Yes, it's going to be a big event on Netflix. But guess what? They are fighting at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia.
Many people have criticized this fight, calling it more of a money show than a real boxing match. Some boxing experts say it's a greedy, cartoon-like event that values fame and cash over skill and tradition. They believe it's a sad moment for the sport. Gervonta Davis has also faced backlash for skipping his rematch with Lamont Roach Jr. to take the much richer fight with Jake Paul. Roach, who thought he won their first match, felt disrespected when Davis ignored the rematch clause in their contract. Reports say Tank will make around $100 million for fighting Jake, far more than he'd earn against Roach, leading critics to say he chose money over the true spirit of boxing.
Gervonta doesn't want this fight.
You want that rematch next? It's definitely the one I want next.
It's the fight I want next, but it's not the fight that's going to be next. Tank said they ain't going to give it to you. PBC had a contract for Tank Roach. Tank didn't sign it. Roach knew all along fight ain't going to happen. He was only contractually obligated to have the rematch if Roach win. Roach won that fight. Robbed him of the knockdown. It's a draw. Now they're not contractually obligated. So why didn't Tank sign the contract?
Gervonta Davis, and you're being offered 20, 30, 40 million, whatever the number is, and you're getting 7 or 8 to fight Lamont Roach.
Do you remember once upon a time, Gervonta Tank Davis had a contract on the table for like 200 million, 300 million, something crazy like that? 6-fight deal. What happened to it? The PBC split with Showtime, now with Amazon. Gervonta doesn't want to fight Jake. What else is he going to do? Let me tell you the biggest issue. He had nowhere to go.
Where's the...
Gary Logan and David Adderley noted that in today's boxing world, fame and money often matter more than legacy or competition. They said Gervonta Davis proved this by choosing a big-money fight with Jake Paul instead of a rematch with Lamont Roach. While they agreed the decision makes sense from a business point of view, they believe it shows how modern boxing is moving away from its traditional values, focusing more on entertainment and profit than real competition.
We got Tank getting in the ring with Jake Paul pretty soon. What do you think that, like, what is it?
You know why, it's people, a lot of people mad, a lot of people upset, real hardcore boxing fans. But you know what about boxing? I like, when it's all said and done and when you guys go off, they go into the next man. Yeah. So if y'all can make a big payday, go get that payday. The sport of boxing don't love you. And that's the problem with this sport. It's like what Jake Paul did, man, it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby.
Do you think Jake's size and popularity will help him stand a real chance? Or will Tank's top-level skills and knockout power be too much to handle? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.